Mingay, a clueless gamer who spends all his time at home playing video games, suddenly gets an invitation from a famous academy. Apparently, they think he's an S-rank dragon slayer. Now, he's got to save the world and his crush, all while figuring out how to leave his couch. Mingay is a sweaty, socially awkward guy with no friends, spending all his time in his man cave playing his favorite game. He's proud to be one of the top players on the server. Currently, he's engaged in a match against his close online friend, and he's frantically typing away, completely immersed in the game. After winning the match, his friend says goodbye, but Mingay is disappointed to see that no one else is online to satisfy his gaming addiction. In his loneliness, he pulls up the profile of a catfish he fell in love with. Just as he's about to drool over his smelly keyboard, he receives an invite from another top-tier player named Nano, challenging him to a duel. Mingay immediately accepts, and the match begins. He's stunned by Nano's skills, finding the challenge far more difficult than expected. Desperate to win, he displays unbelievable wrist speed and mouse movements, standing up from his chair in his excitement. But then, Nano sends him a DM predicting his next move in real time, and Mingay loses the duel. He sits there in shock, wondering who this player could be and how they managed to beat him so easily. When he checks Nano's profile for more information, he finds it blank. Frustrated, Mingay logs off and stops playing. The scene changes, revealing that the person who beat him is a girl named Chen, also known as Nano. She's an A-rank dragon slayer attending Castle College. Nano is driving around the city with her friends from college, and they discuss how the principal of their school is interested in Mingay. Apparently, he has the potential to be an S-rank student, but Nano doesn't understand why. She wanted to challenge him to a duel to see what all the fuss was about. Nano is annoyed because Mingay has received a scholarship from the principal of Castle College, a place she feels he doesn't belong, especially after beating him in the match. Her friends are also curious, so they ask Nano to find out more about him. She logs into the Castle College AI system called Eva and starts asking questions about Mingay's life, hobbies, and personal interests. She discovers that he has no friends, little presence in real life, and only likes to play video games. He was abandoned by his parents when he was younger and now lives with his aunt, uncle, and mean cousin, Ming. Ming likes to troll Mingay by pretending to be a girl online and dates him in the game for revenge. His aunt and uncle constantly shout at him to start making money, warning him that no colleges will accept him and he'll end up a brain dead, no life chump without a future. Nano finds out that Mingay has a crush on a girl at school named Chen Winwin. However, Nano wants to know more about his dreams and aspirations. Eva informs her that Mingay's only dream is to be a simple worker at a newsstand, just to make enough money to update his games and stay online as long as possible. Nano is taken aback, and her friend nearly swerves out of the lane in confusion. They can't understand why the principal wants him at the college when he's nothing but a lonely shut-in dreaming about catfish cuties. Later, after being kicked out of the house to get groceries, Mingay stumbles across the mailbox and asks the guy if he has any letters for him. He receives some new letters and a package containing a device. One letter informs him that he was rejected by the International University, but another accepts him into Castle College. It mentions that he will be mentored by Professor Garion, who specifically requested him. Mingay thinks it must be a dream and tries to wake himself up, but it turns out to be real. He rushes home to tell his family. When they read the letter, they think it's a joke. His aunt loses her temper, accusing him of forging a fake letter and calling him a brat. His cousin Ming tells him there's no way he's getting into that college, as it's meant for human hybrids or people born half human and half magic. Ming talks about a famous human hybrid named Chuai Hang, one of the strongest students at Castle Academy, and claims no one can compare to him. In that moment, Mingay enters a dreamlike state. In his dream, a helicopter rises to their apartment, and a man steps out, revealing himself as Chuai Hang. He invites Mingay to join the academy, even bowing down and calling him Master, saying they've been waiting for him. Mingay snaps back to reality and starts to believe his family might be right, thinking someone must be playing a joke on him. As he begins to walk away, the device in the package starts to ring. His AR informs him that someone wants to interview him about his acceptance into Castle College. His family's faces drop in shock. Later, Mingay speaks to his best friend online, who is excited to hear the news and gives him tips on how to present himself in the interview. The next day, Min-gae arrives at the building in the main city for the interview. He is surprised to see some of his classmates from his previous school, who also received the same letter. Among them is his longtime crush, Chen Winwin. As they wait in line for the interview, Min-gae asks Winwin how she ended up there. Min-gae's nerves were starting to show, but she gave her friend some confidence, telling her not to be nervous. "You're an amazing speaker," she reassured, "and you were the top of all your classes back in high school." Grateful, her friend thanked her just as the interviewer began taking candidates in one by one. After some time, it was finally Min-gae's turn. He had spent the previous day repeating several interviewer questions and answers in his head to ensure he wouldn't mess up. However, when the examiner began asking questions, they were completely random, like if he believed in aliens. This threw him off guard since he was expecting more standard questions like where he grew up or his life story. One of the other interviewers, who was typing up the answers, bluntly told him they didn't care about his life story and only wanted him to answer these seemingly simple yet important questions. Taking a deep breath, Min-gae told him he did believe in aliens. He explained that every night he looks up at the night sky and stares at the stars, convinced that the universe is too vast for there not to be life beyond Earth. He talked about the possibility of life on other planets somewhere out in the galaxy. After these random questions, he got up and apologized to the examiners, saying he must have signed up for the wrong college and exited the building. As he walked outside, a man stormed into the building and confronted the examiners about Min-gae and how the interview went. The examiners told the man, who happened to be Professor Guderian, that Min-gae had quit the interview after the first question. Enraged, Professor Guderian scolded them, saying they should have begged him to stay and demanded they call his cell phone to bring him back. The interviewers were confused as to why the professor was so upset about Min-gae leaving. While walking home, Min-gae saw Chen Winwin, who asked if he wanted to go to the graduation party together. Min-gae accepted, hoping to marry her one day, spend the rest of his days with her, and live somewhere in the city. He was convinced he had just ruined his chance to enter Castle College. However, when he got home, his aunt informed him that a man named Guderian had called and said Min-gae had passed the interview and could enroll in Castle College. The next day, Min-gae, along with his aunt, uncle, and cousin, returned to the building to speak to Professor Guderian. His aunt immediately wanted to know about the money and where Min-gae would be staying. The professor explained that his scholarship included $36,000 deposited into his bank account each year in accommodations at the academy. Hearing such a large amount, his aunt begged Min-gae to join them and told the professor he would attend immediately. The professor then revealed the reason they wanted Min-gae. He apparently had a rare 100-year-old talent stored within his soul. This confused his aunt and uncle until the professor presented a letter written by Min-gae's parents, revealing that they were honorary students of Castle Academy. Min-gae was in shock, having always thought they abandoned him for no reason, but it turned out they were studying at the school all along. Excusing himself, he went to the bathroom and cried as he read the contents of the letter. His mother explained what happened to them, why she left him that night, and that she had always loved him. She requested that the principal give him a scholarship when he came of age and wished him nothing but a good life. At this moment, Nano approached him in the girls' bathroom, telling him he should probably leave if he was going to cry like that, and escorted him back to the meeting. Once back, the professor asked him what he thought about enrolling in the school. Min-gae said he needed more time to decide. Hearing this, Nano revealed to everyone that Min-gae's hesitation was due to a girl he had a crush on and didn't want to leave behind. This shocked Min-gae, who was surprised she might know Chen Winwin. Nano explained she just guessed, but then she let slip something she had said to him in their duel match online, revealing that she was actually Nano, the same person who had beaten him in the game. Later, on the rooftop, Min-gae wondered how she knew so much about his private affairs. He took out his phone, preparing to confess his feelings to Chen Winwin. As he was doing this, Nano appeared behind him, startling him. She explained that Eva, the artificial intelligence, could easily locate him, and she had come on orders from Professor Guderian to convince him one last time to join the academy. Min-gae hesitated again, still because of his crush on Winwin, telling Nano he loved her and couldn't leave without confessing his feelings. Nano then told him that she knew Winwin didn't like him back and warned that he would ruin his chance of joining the academy for someone who didn't even love him. Despite this, Min-gae believed he still had a chance since Winwin had offered to go to the party with him. Nano tried to explain all the reasons why he was making the wrong choices in life and warned that if he didn't join now, it would affect him forever. The next day, Mingay met with Chen Winwin to buy supplies for the graduation party. While they were out, Nano approached Mingay again, advising him to immediately leave Winwin. She explained that the professor was leaving tonight, so he must make his decision by then. However, Mingay had already planned to confess his feelings to Winwin at the graduation party, so he refused Nano's offer once more. Determined, Mingay spent quite some time practicing his confession in the mirror to be ready for the big moment. With no money to his name, Mingay picked flowers from the ground to give to Winwin. As the party was about to begin, his friend Jam Mangu brought him a suit. After putting on the suit, Mingay headed towards the main stage for graduation and greeted 2 other students who had been hired by Xiao Mangu. With a plan in mind, Mingay decided to head onto the stage with the flowers to confess his love. However, just as he was about to speak, Xiao Mangu walked out with flowers in hand and made his own confession to Chen Winwin. To Mingay's shock, it turned out that Xiao Mangu had been playing a prank on him, and Chen Winwin was in on it. She expressed her feelings for Xiao Mangu in front of everyone, and they started dating right there. Mingay stood in complete silence, feeling the betrayal of his close friend and heartbroken. As he felt deep sadness and rejection, Nano appeared in the most beautiful outfit, making his classmates gasp in surprise as she elegantly walked down the steps of the graduation ceremony. Nano approached Mingay with her subordinates and clapped her hands to signal the girls to change his outfit. Afterward, the gorgeous Nano locked arms with Mingay and expressed to Winwin and Xiao Mangu that Mingay had more important things to do than be there. This annoyed Mangu, so Nano told them that this was the last time they would see this version of Mingay and walked out of the building. Nano told Mingay it was okay to look back at Winwin one last time, but he refused and didn't turn around. They drove for quite some time until their car ran out of gas. They stopped somewhere to refuel, and Nano told Mingay she couldn't fail the principal or professor by not getting Mingay to join Castle Academy. Mingay thanked Nano for not giving up on him and reconsidered, deciding he wanted to join Castle College. Nano informed Eva about his decision, and Eva greeted Mingay for the first time, giving him all his current statistics and calling him an S-rank student. She also provided him with a student ID code and all the information about the college. Nano then crowned him, naming him a king of the college even though he hadn't done anything yet. She explained that others, like his parents, had been crowned before him. People would kill or die for the crown, but she submitted to him and offered to be his personal subordinate and guide him with the knowledge she had learned over the years at the college. Mingay gladly accepted her as a friend. Eva saved all of Mingay's information onto the system, notifying all the other students at Castle College. A few days later, Mingay was at the airport, asking an officer about the CC line he was supposed to take to get to the college. The officer dismissed him, saying there was no such line and that he didn't entertain beggars. Mingay looked at himself, with only $20 to his name, and felt like a beggar. He decided to go to McDonald's to get a burger but was refused service because they didn't serve beggars. Just then, he met a silver-haired boy named Finger, who turned out to be broke as well. Finger asked Mingay for some money to buy soda and noticed the Castle College card in Mingay's hand. Finger revealed he was also a student there and took out a similar card. Finger introduced himself as Mingay's senior, despite having repeated a grade 4 times. They both waited at the metro station for the CC line to board for the college. Finger explained that the college was hidden in a valley, and the easiest way to get there was by the CC line unless one owned a private jet and had permission from the headmaster. They waited until midnight before falling asleep. Mingay had a dream where he found himself in a war with people running in robes. He woke up to see a big moon outside the station's window and a young boy sitting beside him on the ground. The boy spoke to him as if he knew Mingay, calling him a brother, but then Mingay woke up again, realizing it was just a dream. Just then, Finger woke up too and said the CC line was here. They both heard a man walking towards them with a bell in his hand. The man announced that the CC 1000 express train had arrived, and all students were to board it with their luggage and tickets. Finger walked up to him, and the man told him he didn't expect to see his failure of a face there. Finger admitted he had been demoted once again and made the record for consecutive demotions, going from grade GR to an F. Mingay also walked up to the conductor and introduced himself as a new student named Ming. Hearing his name, the conductor started freaking out, asking if Mingay was really the newest grade student and why the professor hadn't arrived in his plane to pick him up. Finger freaked out as well, and Mingay, not wanting to feel left out, joined in. After checking in, the whole airport lit up, and an underground passageway opened up for Mingay. The CC-1000 express train arrived with Professor Guderian popping out of it. They all boarded the train, changed into their uniforms, and the professor asked Mingay to sign an NDA, customary for all students of the college, as they studied special subjects not taught anywhere else in the world. The professor explained that they studied dragons and asked Mingay about his opinion on them. Mingay said they were just legendary creatures from various myths and stories, but the professor insisted they were real and that humans and dragons had been at war for a long time, although normal people didn't know. At Castle College, they studied ways to kill dragons and produced heroes who could help mankind. After hearing the professor out, Mingay suggested that perhaps the professor needed a mental doctor rather than a dragon slayer, but then he suddenly fainted. He had a dream about the same young boy, who told him dragons were real and showed him a scene with a real dragon atop an ice-covered peak. The boy explained that long ago, a human killed the Dragon King on its throne and became the first human emperor. When the dragon died, everyone celebrated, and it was because of the human hero that civilization had advanced so far. With that, the boy vanished, and Mingay came back to his senses. He woke up and told the professor he might be crazy, but the professor brought in one of his associates, who carried 2 boxes. The man explained that in his 40 years of career life, Mingay was the second S-grader he had seen. Sadly, the first one had met a tragic fate. After that, they opened the first box and showed Ming a dragon scale, asking him to try shooting at it with a gun. Ming mentioned that he had experience with guns from his military training and took a shot at the scale. The bullet bounced off, showcasing the scale's toughness. Ming speculated that it could be some advanced technology and moved on to the other box, which contained a baby dragon inside a capsule in a sleeping state. The professor began to tell the story behind the dragon, but Ming dismissed it as just an action figure, telling them to grow up. As Ming looked closely at the dragon, it suddenly woke up and tried to break free. Fortunately, the new nanotech case made it go back to sleep without escaping. The professor suggested that the dragon reacted to Ming's strong genetics, joking that his ancestor Andrew Tate must be happy. They all arrived at the college, and Ming walked in with the professor. As they walked through, Ming asked why they hadn't seen any students, and the professor began to wonder as well. Suddenly, air sirens started going off, and the professor realized things were about to get crazy. He took Ming and ran to take cover behind a pillar. Suddenly, lots of young people in red and black suits appeared, turning the place into a war zone as they shot at each other. The professor got hit early on and went down. The crazy battle continued until only one woman and the leaders of both groups were left. The leaders faced each other, revealing themselves as Caesar, the leader of the student union, and Zhang, the president of the Lionheart Society. They fought intensely like protagonists from a fighting anime, making Ming look insignificant in comparison. While they were busy fighting, the 2 girls faced Ming in the middle. The red team's girl turned out to be Nano. She pointed a gun at him, told him to get down, and shot the girl behind him. It seemed the black team had won, but then Ming went into Ultra Instinct, giving control of his body to the young boy from his dreams. Together, they managed to shoot down both girls and the 2 leaders. Afterward, Ming sat beside the pillar, regaining control of his body. Suddenly, a massive group of nurses and medics arrived to treat everyone. Alongside them, a bald man in a black suit walked in, complaining about the waste of money from the event. The professor woke up and explained that they used anesthetic paint bullets that marked their targets and put them to sleep without causing real damage. He revealed that it was a free day at the college, and the students decided to play an expensive game of paintball to see who was better. The professor then fell back asleep, accidentally exploding another bullet on his chest while explaining its function to Ming. The bald man turned out to be Professor Man, in charge of finance and discipline at the college. He called the principal to complain about the mess, but the principal said it was the students' right and that the college would cover the $200,000 plus repair costs. The principal regretted not being able to join them this year and promised to participate next time. After getting cheers from the students, he asked if Ming was there and told him to join his class before saying goodbye. Professor Man warned Ming to go to his dorm unless he wanted to face the jealous, bloodthirsty stares of every student present. Later, Ming reached his dorm, which turned out to be a spacious room for 2. His roommate was none other than Finger Senpai. Finger offered to show Ming around the college on his first day. They visited different buildings, and Finger explained that no one could use spirit language on college grounds due to a barrier cast by Professor Man's father. who lived in the watchtower. He then took Ming to the only classroom where spirit language could be used for teaching purposes, explaining that it was a kind of power that came from resonating dragon language with a dragon bloodline. One needed the blood of a mage and knowledge of magical chants. Otherwise, they would be branded a muggle and sent to the Harry Potter universe. As they walked, they encountered various students practicing their spirit language. One of them lost control over his water spirit, but another student froze it, saving everyone. Meanwhile, somewhere on an airship, the principal had a drink with his friend Manson, discussing the students during the age of the last Dragon King. The principal expressed his wish to produce geniuses who could lead mankind into a new age of peace without the threat of dragons, and he was willing to train Ming himself. They then talked about a secret mission they were about to start as their airship moved toward their destination. Back at the college, Professor Good came to pick Ming up for his 3E exam. They went to a room where the professor wanted to test something before the official exam. He showed Ming a music box containing the Black Dragon Emperor's recording. He explained that all people with a dragon bloodline were his subjects and that when the Emperor roared, all dragons under him would bow down and kneel in the direction of his throne. It was the first step towards learning spirit language and made humans with dragon bloodline hallucinate. The professor played the recording and asked Ming if he saw anything. Ming said he only felt sleepy and saw nothing in particular. The professor wondered how this could be, given Ming's great S bloodline, and ran to the library in a panic, calling Professor Man there as well. In the library, they studied old records and deduced that Ming could be someone at the Emperor's level, possibly with the White Dragon's bloodline. This complicated matters, but Professor Good decided to keep it a secret to protect his student. The next day, all new students had their 3E exam. Ming cheated by copying answers from Finger Senpai. He also had a dream about the young kid, who introduced himself as his brother Ming's, causing Ming to sleep for 2 hours during the 3-hour exam. Later that night, Ming heard a bell and had another dream about Ming's, who told him that the bell of death signaled that someone was about to die. Ming realizes he is going to get in trouble, but it might also be an opportunity. He asks Ming's for a perk, thinking back to how Nano found him on the rooftop. Ming requests the ability to have a map that shows the location and layout of everything in the world. Ming's grants this using a spell, and Ming wakes up for real, with Finger calling out to him as the emergency alarm goes off. They all rush out and find that all the AG grade and above students must gather in the meeting hall. The professors explain that during a mission, they discovered the palace of the Bronze Dragon King. 2 board members are stuck there as the palace continuously changes, making it hard to escape. They show pictures of dragon writing found in the palace and ask the students to decode it, hoping it will show a way out. With only 20 minutes left, students worldwide start working on the code. Ming looks around, noting how everyone is trying their best, but since it's his first day, he feels out of place. He notices a new student working hard and feels even worse about himself. Motivated, he remembers the open map perk and uses it to find the key to escape the palace, submitting it just in time. They send the information to the people in the palace, finding a way out for them, but discover there isn't enough oxygen left to reach the surface. These 2 members, who took Ming-F's interview for the college, love each other and give their all to deliver the cocoon they retrieved from the palace. However, they are attacked by a sea dragon, one of the Dragon King's retainers, and killed, but not before managing to deliver the cocoon to the higher-ups in the airship. The sea dragon chases after the airship to retrieve the cocoon. Mance fights back to avenge his dead partners. The chase becomes intense, with the sea dragon killing Mance's secretary. In his grief, Mance shoots at the beast with his machine gun to no avail. The airship starts losing power, and it seems like the end, but Mance commands the ship to head straight for a dam, hoping to crush the sea dragon between the dam's gates. The plan succeeds, but not before the dragon shoots one of its teeth through Mance's stomach. Later, the principal announces the mission's success, thanking Ming and the students for their help in obtaining important dragon writings and artifacts. The college bell rings, indicating the death of some members. As they leave the hall, Zhang thanks Ming for his contribution and invites him to join the Lionheart Society as his successor. Ming refuses, saying he can't take such a position. Back at the airship, the principal sits with his dying friend, reporting the mission's success but keeping their losses secret from the students to maintain morale. He also tells his friend to check on his adopted daughter, Nano, to ensure her safety. Days later, Ming receives an online invitation to a ball dance from the student union. He goes with Finger, who tells him that Caesar, the student union leader, is the heir to the famous Western Gattuso family. At the ball, Caesar invites Ming to join the student union, but Ming declines, needing time to think. Ming then finds Nano, who left to get some fresh air, and they drive to a hill. Meanwhile, the college goes on high security alert as 13 intruders infiltrate the facility, aiming to steal the cocoon retrieved from the Dragon King's palace. Caesar and Zhang station their groups to capture the intruders while the faculty and students are put on duty. They manage to catch 7 of the 13 intruders, but none reveal their leader's identity. With most elite students on missions, the principal and Professor Man request the Night Watcher to undo the spirit language seal, allowing everyone to use their powers. This also enables the enemy to use their spirit language to hide their presence. The leader, Mai, reveals herself, and she, along with her team, engages in battle with Caesar and Zhang. Caesar's spirit language, Scythe, allows him to detect and react to the smallest movements, leading to a draw with Mai, who can conceal her presence and move swiftly. Using her super speedy movement, Ai delivers precise strikes, moving like an assassin. Her ability contrasts sharply with Caesar's more defensive style. Their intense clash ends in a draw, as Caesar barely manages to block all her attacks. Meanwhile, Zhang reveals his exceptional bloodline among the students, second only to Ming. His spirit language ability, Dragon King's Flames, enables him to ignite and control fires around him. Unexpectedly, a blonde girl on the enemy's side also possesses this rare power, leading to an explosive clash of flames. Elsewhere, the comedic relief guy makes his way to the underground chamber where the AI resides. Using information from the AI, he reaches the underground research facility where a mysterious cocoon is kept. However, he accidentally loses his phone and unlocks a door sealed since 1912. Sneaking into the facility, he witnesses the principal showcasing the cocoon to the researchers. They notice a crack on the cocoon, revealed by a CT scan to be from the hatching process, not an accident as initially thought. The scientists suggest dissecting the cocoon, but the principal sternly warns them against it, fearing the release of a dragon. As the principal escorts them out, the comedic relief guy sneaks back in, taking pictures of the cocoon. He contemplates breaking the case and taking it for a $5 million reward, but loses his nerve due to illusions caused by proximity to the cocoon, leaving empty-handed. Surprisingly, a shadowy figure enters after him, breaks the seal, and feeds the cocoon his blood, unleashing the Dragon King Constantine. Back at the college, Caesar and Ai's fight culminates in a massive blast that disrupts the electricity, leaving burning footprints in its wake. Caesar and Ai investigate, suspecting it might be the work of Zhang and the blonde girl. Meanwhile, Ming enjoys a ride up the hill with his friend Nano. He receives a vision from Ming's, who advises him on how to capture Nano's heart and encourages him to bring her a gift for her upcoming birthday. Ming decides on flowers, and Ming's assures him it will happen. Later, Ming and Nano sit at the hilltop, their feet in a spring. Ming's proposes that Ming join the student union, promising to protect him like a little brother. Ming inquires about Caesar, and Ming's explains it was a political marriage and asserts her independence. Ming confides that he knows about the deaths of Ai and the others, who were close to Ming's. She reveals that her mentor, Mance, also died, but she kept it secret to preserve student morale. She reflects on mortality, sharing that she visits the hill to see the stars, though tonight is cloudy. Feeling empathy for Ming uses the keyword she gave him. Suddenly, the car lights turn on, music plays, and fireworks burst in the sky, forming flowers and spelling out, "Happy birthday, Nano," in a way only her mother knew. Nano is moved to tears, and Ming realizes she misses her deceased mother, understanding her sympathy for him. Earlier, when Ming first met Nano, he was crying over his parents. He looks at her now and tells her that from now on, he is her younger brother and will join the student union. They get back in the car and start driving down to the college. Nano finally receives Caesar's message telling her the college is under attack. Ming starts panicking, but Nano reassures him that the college should be fine and that the fight will likely be over by the time they get back. Meanwhile, Zhang and the blonde girl are fighting to a stalemate with their fire powers. It looks like the girl has the upper hand, but she doesn't want to kill Zhang and is only there to stall him. On the other hand, the comedic relief guy drives off on a bike and makes his way out of the college, only to be hit by Ming's car. The comedic relief guy takes Ming hostage, and they come face to face. It turns out the guy is Ming's League of Legends friend, Tyler, whose real name is Tang. They recognize each other and start getting friendly, but Tang asks for Ming's help and takes him as a hostage. Suddenly, they hear something crashing down behind them and feel intense heat. They turn around and see a boy covered in flames, walking like a zombie from The Walking Dead, asking for his brother. They all run away, and the students start shooting at the boy, but their bullets melt before reaching him. The professors deduce that the boy is actually the Dragon King that hatched from the cocoon, the Dragon King of Fire and Bronze, who can manipulate fire and bronze, making the bullets useless. The boy keeps walking forward, looking for his brother. Ming and the others hide behind a pillar and eventually meet up with Caesar, Mai, and Finger. They suspect the boy is after Ming and hide inside a pool to keep the fire kid away. Caesar and Mai stay out to fight and then retreat after gathering some info on the boy's weaknesses. Meanwhile, Mai's contractor calls her and reveals that the boy is the Dragon King Constantine. He is in an unstable state and will soon disintegrate, causing a storm stronger than nuclear bombs. They suggest using fake bullets from their college practice, as these contain no metal. While the bullets won't hurt the kid, shooting him enough might knock him out. They all get this info and start shooting the kid with rubber bullets while Ming and the others hide in the pool. While hiding, Ming feels the kid approaching and warns the others. They hold their breath and hide underwater. Ming holds his breath for a while but then surfaces, finding himself in another world. He thinks it's a dream where he meets Ming's and starts calling out to him. He walks through a valley, finds a young boy, and asks where they are. The kid turns out to be Constantine, who feels they have met before. Constantine starts sniffing Ming like a maniac, and then Ming's arrives, kicks Constantine away, and tells him to find someone else to call brother. Ming wakes up to find Constantine was actually there, and Finger and Tang are no longer in the pool. The principal walks in and tells Ming to come with him. He takes Ming to a high tower, gives him a gun, and a special dragon-killing bullet. He explains that only Ming, with his high-grade bloodline, can use the bullet without collapsing under its power. The principal then says he will create an opening for Ming to kill Constantine. Meanwhile, Constantine is being bombarded by rubber bullets from a tower. He looks down, sees Tang and Finger, and realizes he was actually after Tang, not Ming. Constantine starts losing control over his powers, transforming into his true dragon form. The principal jumps in, uses his special technique ×0 to slow everything around him, and creates a wound for Ming to aim at. Ming, with some help from Ming's, nullifies the dragon's powers. The principal then orders everyone to switch to real bullets to finish off Constantine. Constantine rushes down, stands in front of Tang, blocks all the bullets, and calls Tang his brother until the end. Tang, not understanding, starts running into the forest, getting visions from his previous life. He realizes he is the Dragon King of Fire and Bronze, Norton, and Constantine was his younger brother. After seeing his brother die, Tang goes back to the underwater palace to recover his strength and awakens his servant, the Sea Dragon. Meanwhile, the principal meets with the Night Watcher and reveals that dragons create cocoons before they die, which eventually hatch into new Dragon Kings. To truly kill a Dragon King, they need to be mad and ready to fight before creating this cocoon. As Norton's cocoon is immature, they plan to attack him now. They form a team consisting of Caesar, Nano, Ming, and the new blonde student. At first, Ming is against it, but with encouragement from Nano and the others, he accepts the mission and starts training. After his training arc, Ming boards the airship with the team and heads to the Dragon King's palace. Nano and Ming are chosen to go down and explore the area to confirm the Dragon King's presence, who is supposed to be hibernating due to his immature awakening. They both follow the same path. I and her partner, having braved numerous challenges and dangers before, finally arrived at the Dragon King's chamber deep within the labyrinthine depths of the underwater palace. Guided by I's keen intellect and her partner's unwavering determination, they meticulously searched every corner of the chamber. Through astute psychological techniques, I discerned subtle clues that confirmed this was indeed where the Dragon King once resided with his younger brother, Constantine. Eager to gather valuable research materials, they swiftly collected items that could shed light on the ancient mysteries surrounding the Dragon Kings. However, their journey back to the surface was fraught with unforeseen peril. The city surrounding them began to shift, reminiscent of the temporal disturbances they had encountered at Akita Bay. What began as a straightforward ascent turned into a harrowing race against time, navigating treacherous traps that threatened to ensnare them. Amidst their escape, they stumbled upon the remains of a deceased individual clutching a massive book. Recognizing its potential significance, they retrieved the tome, its contents promising insights into arcane knowledge long buried beneath the waves. Battling against the shifting environment and perilous traps, they eventually emerged into the open waters. During their ascent, Ming's swimming gear was irreparably damaged. Displaying her characteristic selflessness, Ai passed her gear to Ming, insisting that she could manage the remainder of the journey on her own. With renewed determination, they continued their ascent towards the surface, unaware of the imminent danger looming above. Above the water, chaos erupted as the airship carrying their allies came under attack by the fearsome sea dragon. With lightning reflexes and decisive leadership, Caesar took command, attempting to steer the airship away from the relentless pursuit of the sea dragon. Despite their efforts to evade, the sea dragon persisted, herding them towards a precipitous cliff. Atop the cliff stood Norton, a formidable figure who leapt fearlessly onto the back of the sea dragon. Harnessing his powers, Norton merged with the creature, transforming into a colossal entity now dubbed Tangan. Tangan, driven by primal instinct, relentlessly pursued the airship, intent on its destruction. Undeterred by the overwhelming odds, Caesar devised a daring plan upon learning of Zhang's presence among their ranks. Utilizing Zhang's unique psi ability, Caesar orchestrated a strategy to engage Tangan in a one-on-one confrontation. Their clash would create a cataclysmic explosion, temporarily blinding all onlookers. Seizing this moment of vulnerability, they launched a specially prepared missile towards Norton's vulnerable core, hidden amidst the fusion with the sea dragon. In the midst of this chaotic battle, Ming and Nano located an escape pod and hastily boarded it. However, tragedy struck as Tangan, in a desperate act, impaled Nano with one of its lethal stingers, ending her life abruptly. Overwhelmed by grief and rage at the loss of his friend, Ming's emotions boiled over, driving him into a frenzied state. In his turmoil, Ming found himself thrust into an inner realm where he encountered Ming's, a mysterious entity offering a pact to aid him in defeating the Dragon King and saving Nano. Confronted with his deepest insecurities and failures, Ming underwent a profound transformation, culminating in a self-administered catharsis that dispelled his inner demons. Accepting Ming's pact, Ming gained access to formidable opus abilities, granting him mastery over spirit languages and enhancing his combat prowess. Armed with newfound strength and resolve, Ming learned from Ming's about a book containing 7 weapons known as the 7 Deadly Sins, crafted ages ago by Norton himself. Emerging from the depths, Ming rescued Nano and utilized his enhanced abilities to heal her wounds. With Nano safely secured in the escape pod bound for the surface, Ming faced Norton, now fully intent on consuming him. Employing Spirit Block to neutralize Norton's formidable techniques, Ming unleashed the 7 Deadly Sins, engaging in a titanic struggle that reverberated across the ocean floor. Their battle raged on, each combatant trading devastating blows until Norton, recognizing Ming's strength and resilience, chose to retreat and strategize. However, Ming's newfound powers enabled him to discern Norton's hiding place. Confronting Norton face to face, Ming was shocked to discover the true identity of his adversary, his long-lost friend, Tyler. Overcome with sorrow and conflicted emotions, Ming hesitated in dealing the final blow. Yet, in a decisive act of resolve, Ming relinquished control to his alter ego, Bing, who swiftly delivered a fatal strike using one of the 7 Deadly Sins, consigning Norton to a watery grave. Meanwhile, on the surface, Caesar and the others tended to Nano's wounds, providing her with urgent medical attention. The blonde-haired girl, Zero, undertook a daring rescue mission, retrieving Ming from the ocean's surface and bringing him aboard the airship. As they returned to the college, Ming met with the principal, who revealed the truth about Tang and the enigmatic nature of Dragon Kings. Ming, grappling with mixed emotions over Norton's fate, silently acknowledged his understanding of the principal's words. Reflecting on his pact with Ming's and the price he had paid, Ming received a letter from his mother, expressing pride in his achievements and regret for her absence. Moved to tears, Ming found solace in his mother's words as he prepared to resume his life at the college. Engaging in light-hearted banter with Finger and Caesar, Ming found himself confronted with unexpected camaraderie and support from his friends. Amidst their interactions, Ming received a mysterious package containing a smartphone, accompanied by a message from Ming's reaffirming their pact. Resolved to live life to the fullest and cherish the bonds he had forged, Ming vowed to keep Ming's powers in check, ensuring he could navigate the challenges ahead alongside his friends. In the principal's office, a photograph of Ming and Ming's hinted at deeper secrets yet to be uncovered. As the story concluded, viewers were left with a sense of closure and anticipation for future adventures, should they continue.